Phil McBride. I practice law in Tampa, Florida, but the most important thing I'm doing now, which I hope will be of interest to each of you, is I am helping with the Tocqueville Legacy Circle program, which I'll explain a little bit more about it if you haven't heard about it up to now in the conference. Before I get into that, I want to thank all of you for taking time to make the trip, to attend the meetings, and to go out, hopefully resolved to continue the good work of the United Way. I joined the United Way as a volunteer in 1978. I led a lawyer's drive, I led our campaign, I chaired the board. I've been involved with the United Way every single year since then. And it's been one of the things that I've done in my life that I can look back with absolute pride and feel that I gave and it was good for other people. And it's the religious principle: if you give, you get. I'm very blessed. And we are working to make sure that those good people like you will continue to give, so that their children and ancestors and people continue to get the benefits and the help when they need it in important times in their lives from the United Way. What we're doing here in Tampa is part of a national program, and I commend the National United Way, I guess it's the United Way of the world now, for doing things that are innovative and not simply rely on the charter that we originally had. In any event, the Tocqueville Legacy Circle is a concept that's not unusual in the land of philanthropy, but a little new to at least our United Way. We have been very successful here in increasing the numbers of our de Tocqueville members over the past 8 years. And we've been relatively successful maintaining our numbers even in these hard economic times. The project that we're working on is to convince, or at least present the opportunity to de Tocqueville members like my wife Alex and I, who, by the way, a simple plug, is Chief Financial Officer of Florida and running for Governor of Florida. So if you have friends, you might want to let them know that she's generous, like I have been a member of the Tocqueville over 25 years. In any event, we're going to people like us, and we're asking them to make provision in their wills and in their estate planning to endow their United Way de Tocqueville gift. The number now that we ask is for them to make provision for a $200,000 gift that would, or a bequest, that would go to the United Way after they die. Now, that number theoretically would endow a $10,000 giver. So sort of what happens, as all of you know, during your high earning years, the generous and good people that have the capacity and the intent, like myself and my wife, we give $10,000 a year apiece to the United Way. But when we retire, which will happen, there'll probably be a period when we'll say, well, we're not working anymore. So what generally happens is you'll lose those members as the Tocqueville members. And what we're trying to do is to get them to come back to create and leave a legacy. Since I'm on tape and from out of town, I expect someone will think that I can operate a little as an expert. But that is really not the case. We have a very simple concept for getting the Tocqueville Legacy Circle expanded. We call, we make an appointment to go to lunch with a de Tocqueville member who's been a loyal member, and at lunch we talk about the program, and we simply ask if they will consider joining. We do provide materials which are very good that have been prepared at national, the United Way, and then modified for our region. And we also explain that we have the best estate planning and trust and will and probate lawyer in the southern part of the United States, who provides pro bono help so that the person we're asking to join can put his or her lawyer in contact with the legal side, and they can work out the details and the intricacy. I think maybe I could give a few pointers on what we've learned. While our model is simple, there's some things you need to focus on. First, you have to have a really good staff person who will make sure that you are calling the right people, the arrangements are made, and to come and provide security and information that the asker, who is generally me, may not know. And we have the best in, I'm chauvinistic here, but I think we may have the best in Donna Yarborough in the country. She and I grew our United Way to Tocqueville membership, and now she's doing both. She's maintaining the Tocqueville growth as well as this program. But whenever a question comes up that I can't answer relating to United Way policy, programs, and things like that, she's there to answer. Going without Donna or somebody knowledgeable is absolutely a bad idea. Secondly, I don't feel at these lunches that they work any better if I start off. In fact, I've let Donna the last 3 times make the pitch and explanation, and then I make the ask. And I find that I'm more persuasive in the ask than in the explanation. And the ask is really more potent because after Donna's explained what we're doing, I say, well, Alex, my wife, and I have done this. And so have, and I list 3 or 4 other Tocqueville members. And that gives validation to the person because they know the others who we've talked to, they have great respect for. It's important to follow up. All of us are busy. So even though at lunch you say, you know, I'm going to talk to my lawyer and I'd really like to do something like that. It's easier to follow up if you do what Donna does very well. Donna whips out a form that's not a legally binding form, but it shows and indicates an intent to do this and have them sign it. And I think the physical act of signing it and giving it to her, it improves our chances that the bequest or gift in the will get made, almost quadruples the odds that they will do it. If people resist signing and not taking it, then you know you've got a somewhat of a reluctant person. And then follow up. We intend to, once we finish going through the list, we'll go back and start over again with those who we haven't heard from. The last thing I'll say is that this should not be an added expense for United Way. I pick up the lunches, and you should find somebody who will pay for the lunches. It shouldn't come out of the United Way expense. I can take it as somewhat of a charitable or business deduction or not, because frankly I'm getting to go to lunch with somebody who I should have been visiting with, and I catch up. And the only irritant, and if you're going to get involved in this, your staff person will tell you, I spend about half the lunch just talking about kids and business and where we are and ways we can help each other. And actually I've gotten a client out of one of the lunches, so I guess I'm way ahead. I give one last piece of advice, and it's one that I've learned the hard way. You don't have to pressure people, and you don't have to take silence as rejection. There's so many different personalities. All generous people aren't the same way. Some are enormously flamboyant. Some will talk to you and grab the conversation from you and you don't say anything. Others will quiet and listen. You really can't tell. What we need to do is just have a systematic effort to ask in a formal way and give each of these people the opportunity to join. That's all you've got. You can't care if they say no or don't. We will get those. The most unlikely candidate provided $1 million in his will with a challenge to others that he would increase it. So the real thing to do is just treat it in seriatim. Treat your people, put them in some order, and then go ask. And the ask will get results. And be very happy with doing this. There aren't many things you can do in your life that you know are going to live and be important after we're gone. And this is one of them. And thanks to all the good people at United Way.